Sheryl Swoopes is back in the headlines after firing subliminal shots at Caitlin Clark yet again. And Caitlin Clark fan base responds hard to accusations over the WNBA boycott. Caitlin Clark fan base definitely determined it was going to be a WNBA boycott once Caitlin was up out of there.
Sheryl Swoopes just dropped a bomb on Caitlin Clark, and the WNBA is shaking. You won't believe what she said about the rookie sensation. Is this the start of a legendary feud, or is Swoopes just salty? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Let's talk about what happened. Swoopes, a WNBA legend, went after Clark hard.
This isn't just for Caitlin, but you asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it. Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be. Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
She said Clark's numbers aren't dominant and questioned her impact on the game. That's crazy, right? Clark's been lighting up the court, and now Swoopes is trying to dim her shine. But here's the thing. Swoopes isn't just any player. She's a WNBA icon. When she talks, people listen, and now she's taking shots at the hottest rookie in the league. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about respect, legacy, and the future of women's hoops.
How important, and there's no doubt about the greatness of Sheryl Swoopes and her impact on basketball, not just women's basketball, but basketball in general. Well, you said she brought the noise, and I'd be remiss not to mention lately getting involved in some controversy.
It's so incredibly important. We have to bridge that gap between what's going on today and what we experience. And it will help the younger generation to know our experiences so that they don't make the same mistakes and we continue to soar.
You know what's even crazier? Fans are losing it. Clark's supporters are fired up, and Swoopes is facing some serious heat, but we're just getting started. The real drama, it's still to come. Drama's brewing, but the real story, it's in the numbers. Clark's rookie season isn't just good, it's historic. But forget the usual stats. There's one figure that's got the whole league buzzing, and it's not what you'd expect. Want to know what's really got Swoopes sweating? Let's break it down. Caitlin Clark's been lighting up the court with 19.5 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. That's not just Rookie of the Year material. That's all-star caliber play right out the gate. She's leading all rookies in points and assists. Think about that for a second. Clark isn't just keeping up, she's setting the pace. But here's where it gets wild. The Indiana Fever, they just hit their first 20-win season since 2015. Coincidence? I think not. Clark's not just putting up numbers, she's changing the game for her entire team. The Fever made the playoffs for the first time since 2016. That's the Clark effect in full force. Now, Swoopes is out here saying Clark's numbers aren't dominant. But let's be real, what more does she want?
How much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. Yeah, and it's not to take anything away from what she's done, but if you're talking about breaking records, then if this player did it in this amount of time, then you should do it in that same amount of time.
Clark's not just playing, she's reviving a franchise. The Fever went from the bottom of the barrel to playoff contenders. If that's not dominance, I don't know what is. You might be thinking, okay, but is she really changing the game? Well, hold on to your seats, because this is where it gets crazy. Clark's last game, it pulled in 2.5 million viewers. That's not just good. That's the highest viewership for any WNBA game this season. Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's bringing eyes to the league. Think about it. In her rookie season, Clark's already a game changer. She's not just living up to the hype, she's exceeding it.
Brought that noise. And the fact that she can knock down the NBA three-pointer, especially back then, and still get to the rim when you play up on her, like she was cat quick. She just really brought the complete package. She's not just a three-point shooter. She's a great passer, not a mediocre passer, not so-so. She is a great passer.
And that viewership number, that's what's got everyone talking. It's not just about how she plays, it's about how she's growing the game. So why is Swoopes coming at Clark like this? Maybe it's the old guard feeling the pressure from the new school. Or maybe it's just the heat of competition, but one thing's for sure, Clark's letting her game and those viewer numbers and do the talking. Clark's game speaks volumes. But it's not just players and stats causing a stir anymore. The fans are getting involved, and it's causing major drama for the WNBA. You'd think a boycott would hurt the league, right? Well, the numbers might surprise you. Some of Clark's diehard supporters decided to boycott the WNBA after her team got knocked out. They figured, no Clark, no views. But here's the thing. It didn't quite pan out like they thought. The WNBA finals, they still pulled in over 1 million viewers. That's huge. It shows the league's got some serious staying power, even without its newest star. But the drama didn't stop there. Swoopes' comments about Clark, they set social media on fire. Fans came out swinging, defending Clark left and right. They weren't having any of Swoopes' criticism. It was like watching a virtual shouting match, with Clark supporters in one corner and Swoopes backers in the other. Then, out of nowhere, Nancy Lieberman steps into the ring, another WNBA legend. But this time, she's Team Clark all the way.
There was this quote by Sheryl that said, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate. And I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion.
Suddenly, it's not just fans versus Swoopes. It's legend versus legend. Lieberman didn't hold back either. She went on a big sports show and called Swoopes out direct. Talk about raising the stakes. But here's where it gets interesting. Swoopes must have felt the heat because she did something unexpected. She apologized to Clark. Yeah, you heard that right. Swoopes admitted she messed up about Clark's eligibility year. She took to social media to set the record straight. And Clark, she handled it like a pro. She didn't just accept the apology, she turned it into a moment of respect. Clark said, I appreciate all you have done for women's basketball and for inspiring girls like me. That's class right there. It's like she's saying, we're all on the same team here. So what does all this mean for the WNBA? Well, it's not just about the games anymore. It's about the players, the legends, and the fans all mixing it up. And you know what? Maybe that's not such a bad thing. All this buzz, all this back and forth, it's got people talking about women's basketball. And in the end, isn't that what everyone wants? Everyone's focused on Clark versus Swoopes, but they're missing the real story.
Well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. I mean, if you want to talk about bullies, we can talk about every time Caitlin has the ball, she pushes off.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying.
There's a battle going on in women's basketball that's way bigger than any one player. It's about the soul of the game itself. How do we judge greatness in the WNBA? Is it all about stats, or is there more to it? Nancy Lieberman, another WNBA legend, thinks Clark's impact is huge. She's calling Clark's contributions generational. That's big praise from someone who's seen it all. But Swoopes, she's not buying it. She thinks Clark's game is more hype than substance. This isn't just about two players. It's about how we look at women's basketball. Swoopes comes from a time when dominating meant something specific. But Clark, she's changing the game. Her style is different, and it's got people talking. Think about it. How do you compare players from different eras? It's not easy. The game changes, the rules change, even the way we watch changes. So when Swoopes says Clark isn't dominant, what does that even mean in today's game? Here's where it gets interesting. This debate, it might actually be good for the WNBA. Yeah, you heard that right. All this back and forth is getting people talking. More talk means more interest. More interest? That could mean more fans, more money, and a bigger stage for women's basketball. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This fight between the old school and the new school, it's causing some real tension. You've got legends like Swoopes feeling like the game they built is changing too fast. And you've got new stars like Clark trying to make their mark. So what's the answer? Should we stick to tradition or embrace the change? Maybe it's not that simple. Maybe we need both. The legends brought us here, but players like Clark are taking us somewhere new. And you know what? The fans are loving it. All this drama, All these debates, they're not just watching the games anymore. They're part of the story. They're picking sides, arguing stats, and getting invested in ways they never have before. All right, let's wrap this up. The Swoopes-Clark drama? It's more than just trash talk. It's shaking up women's basketball in a big way. Record viewership, heated debates, fans going wild. The WNBA's never seen anything like this. But here's the real question. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah, you. The fans, the critics, the doubters. You're all part of this now. How you talk about the game, who you support, what you watch, it all matters. Think about it. 10 years from now, we might look back at this moment and say, that's when everything changed. The old guard versus the new school. Stats versus impact. Tradition versus innovation. It's all up for grabs. So, what's it gonna be? Are we witnessing the birth of a new era in women's basketball? Only time will tell. One thing's for sure, it's gonna be one hell of a ride.